the only thing I'd like to ask, please do not use a lot of technical vocabulary, because I'm not a programmer. I'm just a manager.
You're the translator. You're just here for translation.
No, I'm IT manager, so I have a technical background, but it's not.
I want to show source code and show an ID, so maybe you should not be scared.
I hope I won't be scared.
Кто тут в теме?
My bad.
Кто в теме? Вот по матчасти ты?
Okay, so I think we're going to listen to questions
Ты
from the
понимаешь, о чем он
audience.
говорит?
So that's one, or I
Нет,
can show
на
something.
русском ты
I
это
can show
понимаешь?
I can talk about two things now.
В теме, да?
In general, I can talk about two things, and I can show something about templates and how to generate source code and how that works. But let's first ask the two guys there if they know why they're here. In general.
Подтягивайтесь сюда и,
Do
собственно,
they know why they're here? And are they here on
I
purpose
think
or?
they have several guessworks why they're doing there.
Sorry?
Maybe they have several guessworks.
No, but is it? No, if it's not. Okay, let me do a question round. You're a programmer?
I'm not a programmer.
But you speak English. You're
a programmer, but I have a question.
okay. That's good. Come to your question. Are you a programmer?
Yes.
Yes, he is.
In Java?
По-английски говоришь, нет? На чем пишешь? На чем? На чем ты пишешь?
Okay.
C++ программа. Не стесняйтесь говорить погромче. Ну, по-моему, уже далеко не та аудитория.
I was a PHP developer 1 year.
Okay.
And I learned in Java.
Okay. That's a different part.
I'm not a programmer, but I know English.
Oh, that leaves at least one capability to be proud of. And you are not a programmer.
Программа, I'm a manager.
You're a
work
manager,
as
wow.
a manager on an outsource
manager.
company, so I have a little technical background and I know English a bit.
Okay, well, it's good to have you all here. What I can do, if you have a question about Java or about a technical topic,
Вам переводить вообще что-то надо, или мы будем слушать так сходу?
I can talk about.
Ну и ладно.
I can talk about inheritance, about structuring, how to structure Java application in general. It helps if I have a small, like a startup question.
Yeah,
for me.
We start about general trends in Java. You know, the next generation, the next version is 7. Yeah.
Yep.
And in your opinion, what the main goal, what the main purpose of benefits for the next generation?
Yeah. Actually, you're asking the wrong question there, because I don't know the answer to that really. Because what I see a lot is that people are still using Java 5 and Java 6 a bit, but the whole application we are building, they all work on Java 5 even. So we don't even look at Java 7. It's like far in the future. If you want my,
What's the main trend?
the main trend is Google Web Toolkit. if you do web-to-web applications, the main trend is Google Web Toolkit. And that's the big winner or the big thing. And if you have you ever heard of Spring Row? Spring framework. And the Spring framework has come out about a year ago with a new development which is called Row, R-O-O. And it's like a Java Ruby type of thing. So what they try to do, they try to make the Ruby approach where you use command line type of commands to generate or create your application to do it also for Java. So in the background you have like a console, and in the background all kinds of Java code is generated, and it's made visible in the IDE. And it's like a competitor of the Eclipse modeling framework, because the Eclipse modeling group also generates code, and the Spring Row group also generates code, and they have specifically decided not to use Eclipse modeling technology, but develop their own technology. So, makes sense because they're a big group and they're very popular. And so.
Тебе, по-моему, ответили.
So if you want to look at things at Java, I would look at Google Web Toolkit in combination with Spring Row, which are very interesting things to consider.
Ты, может, ты сам сказать, по-моему? Окей, что ты хочешь слышать?
Спасибо, я понял, чем я буду заниматься в будущем. Когда он сделал, то он купил себе мечты.
He says that you have just killed all his dreams.
But I spoke too fast?
No. But now he at least
Realizes what
he realized what he are going to do next and what he are going to do.
Because if you see, there's like there's criticism on Java in general that is if you compare it with Ruby and other languages which have come up, that Java is not developer friendly enough in the development cycle.
Right.
And that's why people are looking at Ruby and other languages, which I have very little experience with, by the way. But I understand the criticism and I see the benefit, and it's good that there's competition and that people get fired up, you know. And that's so the big danger, the big trend in Java is will Java survive, you know? Even, and that's yeah, it will survive, I guess so, but it's being threatened by other languages and by other types of languages working on the Java virtual machine. So for example, have you ever heard of the language called Scala? Ever heard of the language Lisp? Lisp?
We've heard of it.
Well, you're not a programmer, but you've heard about it. But it's not a human language.
Sorry?
No, it's not a human language. Okay, let me talk about languages. This is very short. You have multiple types of programming languages, and one programming language is Java, which is a normal, in a way, procedural language. So you write statements A, B, C, and they're executed A, B, C. You have also functional languages, which are called that's like the Lisp area, and there you describe your application more in functions, which are executed in a more random order. So it doesn't go from A, B, C, but you execute them based on, for example, a tree or something, and that's the Lisp. And Scala is a functional language, which runs on the Java virtual machine. So you can integrate Scala with Java in general. You have all the things in Java which are available. So that's another topic to just type in Scala, S-C-A-L-A, and then you can find information about Scala.
He says he have no questions about Scala because he heard about Scala yesterday first time.
Oh, yesterday. Well, then you're ahead of me almost. But and Ruby is also interesting. But in the end, I'm like it from a Java environment. So when I look at Java and the amount of libraries which are available and the amount of code which are already available, I don't think Java is threatened actually. I think Ruby and others will take up space and they will do their thing, which is great. But in the end, Java is very, in community is huge. It's incredible how many people work with Java in general.
So to sum up your conversation between you and this guy, he is not happy enough to know that Ruby and some languages you've mentioned before are more trendy than Java, but he still believes that Java will survive and
yes, Ruby is much more trendy currently. But if you want to build an ERP system like we are doing, we're not going to use Ruby. Come on, you know. And if you really want to build an enterprise application where you build for an insurance or for a bank or something, you don't want to use Ruby. You want something which is supported in 10 or 15 years from now. You know?
Короче, follow your dream, son.
Yeah. So, and it's great programming. The bad thing, I've like 20 years of development experience, and if you count my static spectrum days, 5-6 years more. But the bad thing with programming is that the user interface programming is as bad or is as difficult or as tedious as it was 10 years ago. So it has not improved a lot. Server-side programming, server-side Java is great. You know, the code completion you can type very quickly. It's really quick programming, but what user interface programming is as difficult as before. And that's why the Google Web Toolkit, where you can do service. Have you guys who has heard about Google Web Toolkit?
Yes.
Or have you tried it out? Have you tried out Google Web? Do you know what it means?
Кто-нибудь работал? Нет, с Google Web Toolkit. So, a lot of people
you have heard about it?
I'm sorry?
You have tried Google Web Toolkit, or you know what the very special thing about Google Web Toolkit is?
No.
Okay, the great thing about Google Web Toolkit is that you program your front-end JavaScript using Java server-side. So you program as if you would do a server-side application. Well, let me ask you another question. Do you guys know the difference between a client and a server?
Yes.
No, before I say that, before, yeah, sorry, I don't want to offend or something. I don't want to offend, but just to be, and if you do server-side programming, you work in a Java environment, and if you do client-side programming, you, for example, JavaScript. And JavaScript is an awful language, which I can talk about JavaScript. I can talk about JavaScript also because it has some great features.
But it's still awful.
It's an awful language, yes. But it has some really great features. But JavaScript programming has the problem that it's an untyped language, which means that if you start programming, it's really difficult to make use of compile time checking and refactoring and code completion. So it's much better to use Java for this. And Java and Google Web Toolkit allows you to program Java. The Java you type in is transformed to JavaScript, which is run on the client. Sounds more or less clear, my statements?
It's clear even for me, and I'm not a programmer. I hope all these guys understand what they're speaking about.
Yeah, you translate that because these guys don't speak English, so they...
These guys don't speak English, these guys don't use Java, so I can't understand their mission, but maybe they're taking pleasure because all who are here are just...
it's warm here with the warm personalities.
Maybe they enjoy atmosphere just.
Yeah. Yeah. No, but the great thing is so that you can even debug. So you debug in Java while your browser runs your code. So if you put a button on the screen and a text field and other things, and then you tab out of this field, you actually get a breakpoint inside your Java code. And that's what the Google Web Toolkit provides you. So, and you can look at the variables, and it's like really great because it makes it much faster to program. So that's the great thing about Google Web Toolkit. In the Open Bravo system, which I showed today, I had a talk about an open source ERP system. You should have attended. So interesting. But there we chose not to use Google Web Toolkit. Because of the Google Web Toolkit, you need to compile. So you program, and then before you can actually use it, there's a small compile step, which is the same as Java, actually. And what we do for Open Bravo, this open source ERP system, we want to generate the user interface at runtime. So, I'm going too fast?
No. Сформулируй вопрос наконец-то.
Понял.
Держи, разговаривай с конкретным.
Ну, давайте, Ирина, пожалуйста, можно уйти от темы тулкитов гугловских.
А перейти на какую?
Ты вопрос-то задай, а то он так и будет рассказывать то, что ты не хочешь слышать. Блин, окей, ты сформулируешь, что ты хочешь услышать, я уж как-нибудь переведу. Ну уже.
Okay, this guy just everything what you said, he doesn't need more information about
No, the problem is that he doesn't know actually what he would like to ask, but he enjoys communication.
No, that's good. I can because I can just talk on the questions. Maybe I talk too fast.
No problems.
And if it's not interesting, also tell me. Then you can walk away, or just tell me if it's or if you want something else. Because I can also show two things. So if you're out of question, but I can also talk about. I can continue my. I can talk a little bit about JavaScript. Just so you know why JavaScript, because I've learned a lot about JavaScript in the past half year or year. And if you do, who programs in JavaScript? Let me ask this. You, well, at least one guy to talk to. And but JavaScript is another example of a language, and there are many languages. And the nice thing about, I'll talk a little bit JavaScript, and then I'll show something. Is that good? Okay, JavaScript has a special thing which is called prototypal inheritance. In Java and in C++ you have a normal class inheritance, and C++ has multiple inheritance. In JavaScript what you have is it's called prototype inheritance. So instead you have a class which inherits from another class. You have an object which inherits its properties from another object. And that's so you can replace that parent object at runtime. And that's not possible with Java. In Java an instance does not inherit from another instance. It's its own thing. And in JavaScript you can build chains of objects which inherit from each other. So if the method or property is not present on this object, it will go to its parent object and to its parent or grandparent object.
Martin, the only thing that scares me is that I'm understanding everything you say. So I guess maybe some programmer bite me this night, and I'm becoming programmer myself. It's maybe some kind of zombies.
Say it again. Now you got too quick. I understand everything. You understand everything I say, right? But
yes.
Now you want to become a programmer, and you stop your manager job, which is
the only thing that scares me is that I really understood everything you said.
Yeah.
And because I'm not a programmer, and I guess maybe some programmer has beaten me this night, and I'm becoming programmer. It's mechanism like zombies. So when a zombie bites somebody becomes a zombie.
No, what I try to do, I try to skip the whole shit about for loops, while loops, and other shit. I just want to mention the essence, the real important things about going back to JavaScript. One other thing is like in Java, you have the this, the this. If you are in an object and you have a method, you can call a method, and it will always call the method on that same object. Get name. Yes.
Я подозреваю, это что-то из вашей терминологии, ребята.
Yeah.
Martin, could you please explain what is this? It's what that I don't know, and maybe it's something from programmer's vocabulary.
Yeah. No, if you program in JavaScript, to call methods on an object, or methods on the same object. You always have to prefix the word this dot whatever.
This.
Yeah.
This.
And because JavaScript uses closures, you guys know what closures are? It's incredible if you know it, because I hardly know it myself.
It's like lambda formos.
Sorry?
Lambda mess.
I'm just throwing out things.
Formos like lambda mess.
I don't even know what it is. No, I'm just throwing out there. I hope it's interesting.
Like it's there's a direction in math like called lambda mess. Lambda expressions. It's the same like closures.
Okay. Yes. Well, you know what closures. Yes. It's from math. Yes. The lambda thing. It's from.
Cool story, bro.
Oh,
it's your prize.
Okay, great. It's food.
It's potatoes, Martin.
It's potatoes.
Potatoes are the symbol of our country.
Yes.
Potatoes are amazing.
Now, what you have in JavaScript is closure. So you create. It's very easy to create in the classes and functions at the same time. It's very easy to create them just on the fly. But when you create them, the whole concept of what the current object is changes during this whole process.
By the way, closures will be integrated in the next generation.
Yes. That's Java 7. I could have mentioned, but it's in the next thing. Actually, you could do a little bit in the classes in Java, or not in the classes, but you can create a class on the fly by implementing an interface together with its body. So there's already something similar in Java currently. But JavaScript goes very far. There's a very good book about JavaScript called JavaScript: The Good Parts, and it's like a must-read for anybody doing JavaScript code. It's incredible. This book. And in 20 pages, it explains all the bad things and the good things about JavaScript. So that's JavaScript.
Only 20 pages?
Yes, in only 20 pages, it explains all the things which, if you're really doing serious JavaScript coding, it will explain. Really, in 20 pages, explains all the. It doesn't talk about how an array is created. It talks about really how prototype inheritance works, and about the this, that there are 4 meanings of this in general. But it's an interesting language, JavaScript, because of this idea of prototype inheritance. Sorry?
It's next my friend and it's next my line is JavaScript as a stuff.
But
It sense. I know that you don't use Google Web Toolkits, but I will use JavaScript.
No, you should use Google Web Toolkit. It's actually better. It's actually better, but the reason that we use JavaScript is because we want to generate at runtime. And so we cannot do this compile step from Google Web. It would be very complex, because what we want to do is when a user adds a new field to a window, we need to regenerate this user interface. And if it's at runtime, so then if we had this compile step from Google Web Field, it would be very difficult.
server-side application with JavaScript interface.
Correct. Yes. So everything runs well. In the end, if you run it if you compile for production, it will create JavaScript files, which you will run on the client. But in development mode, it runs on the server all the time. It's really a great addition to what's already there. So,
I have a question.
You have no more questions?
He is totally satisfied.
No, okay. So if you want to look at
his face. Satisfaction is just.
Что?
That you are a Eclipse committer.
Yes.
Нет, это идеально.
5 years now. 5 years now. So if you want to, like yesterday I already mentioned, it's really great to do open source work, you know, because you get into contact with, I get into contact with people I would not have contacted otherwise. I'm an independent consultant in Holland. Yes, I'm an independent consultant in Holland, and I work from home, so I don't meet many people. I'm like a lonely person, and one way to to solve this is to do open source. Let me say it differently. If you work in a big company and you are in an office somewhere, you are bound to meet people. People come to your desk and you have meetings all the whole day. You know, you talk to many people, and that gives you a lot of contacts. And if it's an international company, you get many international contacts. If you are an independent consultant, you have to build this contact network yourself. And doing open source and doing international open source projects, it helps you to build this contact network. And it's very important as an independent consultant to have these contacts, because they give you work and it's interesting, you learn from them. And so that's why it makes sense. That's a real benefit of doing open source work. And if you want to do open source work, it's best to in my view, to do something related to a bigger project. So if I would want to do a new open source project, I would look at JBoss, or look at is there something missing there, something which I'm interested in, or look at Eclipse, looking at the project in Eclipse and see if I miss something, and then do your own project somewhere. And if it's more or less mature, try to contact these people from the main project, and try to become a sub-project. You know, then you have, because then you get a free community instead of building your own, because it's really difficult to build your own community. You know, it takes a lot of time and effort, and that's. But it's great to be open source committer, as I said, for contact. So.
Круто быть. Да, open source много общения, много опыта, много обмена.
Смысл был в том, что человек работает дома один, а так он хоба, и движняк, и не надо никаких дополнительных действий предпринимать. Еще?
Maybe I'm going to start holy war, but I use beans.
Yes. Yeah, no, stop. Go away. There's the door. Oh, yeah, there's no.
No information about Kinai.com. Do you know what?
About?
Kinai.com.
No.
Что за сервис?
No, but I know there are many. There are many flavors in the world, so it's great that people use different things and that there are different things. So like NetBeans.
Что за штука?
Ну, NetBeans это IDE, да.
Ну, а вот этот вот дот...
Кинай.
Kinai.com.
Кинай именно.
Что такое Kinai?
So to sum up, he'd like to ask you what is Kinai.com, but now we know that you don't know about anything.
No,
as we do.
Let me put the expectations right. I know nothing, and what I know, I borrowed from some other people. And there are many other people who know. Well, most other people know much more than I do.
To be honest, I don't know anything about this Kinai.com as you do.
I would say, but how do you spell it? Because then I will type it in when I get internet access.
Напиши лучше.
But can you tell a little bit about it? Because you mentioned.
It's the best things to demonstrate.
Sorry?
It's the best things to demonstrate, and I think he's going to.
Yeah.
I predicted that Kinai.com seemed like I think that your hands and your creative.
Okay.
I haven't
It's an extension on Eclipse.
no information about
Okay.
this thing.
Yeah. No, but I will look it up as quickly as I get the chance. Okay.
Yesterday you built a class.
Скажи по-русски переводу.
You made a report.
You made a report about modeling tools in Eclipse.
Yes.
How this process, ну, как сказать, как это происходит вот на уровне разработки, да?
How does it?
То есть что делает разработчик, строя модель? Ну, how a programmer can make base model can make model that later translates to the source code.
Okay, I will show you. Is that good? I will give a demo.
Okay.
Yeah?
Yeah.
And then maybe that's a good thing to do right now. Then I can give a demo of this part, because that's one of the, I can talk about this, about code generation and modeling, and about Open Bravo, about the open source ERP system, and how it works.
When you show.
Then
Давайте сделаем.
you can all Deutsch sprechen. That's what you're saying. I can show it right now. I'll project it there.
Все не который час. Надо уже минут через 20 будет.
Такси заказывать.
Да, потому что маршрутку уже заказали.
Были раньше в Солигорске?
Нет.
Я была один раз.
Ну и как они?
Крутой вообще, да.
Меня не покидает ощущение, что по большому счету в Минске. Меня не покидает ощущение, что то ли в Минске, то ли в Могилеве, когда я в окно смотрю.
А почему в Могилеве?
Ну, там тоже такая же застройка.
Не, на каменном ты тут не сиди, пацан.
That's a picture of a model.
Models and their relations. Yeah.
And this is a model of a rental company, and this rental company does very simple things. It rents out bicycles and it rents out cars. It's a very exciting business. There you have this bicycle and there's the car. And
Is
you
it
also
a Dutch company?
What?
Is it a Dutch company?
Yes, that's where the cycle comes from.
Yes.
Bicycle.
That was the reason I asked this, because I guess bicycle renting is a...
Rental, I should have done boats or something there.
No, we got rental unit and their
Yeah.
child's bought the car and bicycle.
Yes, so it's base type is a rental unit. But it's also important there's a type definition here. And often what you see, when you look at the modeling language, what you have type definitions which are a class, like a rental unit here, and you have type definitions, simple type or primitive type definitions for fields. And that's what you see here on the left is enumeration in this case. And the eCore modeling language provides, there are many modeling languages, but eCore modeling language is just one of them, and it provides a very good system for defining types and simple types. And with inheritance, and it also supports generics. But that's a detail. Yeah.
But
where do you define this? How does, for example, this is one representation, it's a picture, and pictures are good.
That's simple models that have nothing more than data structure.
Yeah.
But the models relations must be
Described.
Must be described and how and where that happens.
What do you mean with model relations?
Arrows between
The structure of connections between models.
Okay, yeah, between associations, you mean?
Associations, yes.
But in this case, do I have it somewhere? Well, let's add an association. Yeah? For example, here a rental bicycle. Well, let's add a new type, which is called add. Sorry, here. Let's add a new type, which is called person. Oops. Yeah.
Lost connection.
No, it's dead. Now
Он закручен или нет? Твою ж мать.
Нет, дело не в этом. мне кажется.
Может быть, там, Леша.
Хотя нет. Хотя?
Здесь не включу.
Нет, там не закрыто.
No, that's supposed to be that there's no.
I know the decision. Иди сюда.
No, I'll print it there. No, it's my fault because
Все обратно.
I'm fighting a bit with the resolution. Well, put the resolution back to what it should be.
So, Ubuntu is guilty?
Yeah, Ubuntu is guilty. Yes.
Ubuntu виновата?
Well, let's go for it anyway. Yeah. Okay, let's add a new one, and that's called person. Well, you have to. I'm still there. You have to forgive me because normally I don't do graphical editing. Well, forget it. I won't do it here. No, normally let's say this because normally I don't do graphical editing. Normally I edit in another type of editor. Here you see the same model, only in a tree editor, which I find much easier to work with than normally. So let's add a new type called person, and that person. Add a new type person. This person has an attribute name, and the type of that name is string. So now we have a person, and let's say that on the rental contract we have a reference to this person. So a person rents a rental contract. So what we do, we add a new reference, and it types that reference is person. And this renter, let's say it this way. This is association. That's what you mean, I think, isn't it? So rental contract has a...
Сейчас получилось, что это средство позволяет нам создавать только модель данных, правильно?
Это вообще это весь вопрос?
Да, переведи, это весь вопрос.
Does this tool allows to create only the data model?
But not business, some kinds of business logic and...
No, well, yes, it's possible to define an E operation, but in general, that's the whole idea of the case modeling project is that it tries to focus only on domain modeling, data modeling, and not on use cases or on state diagrams.
Operations, that is a simple maker to do something.
Yes, in a way, what you see here is that actually it tries to. Normally, those things are done in design programs, in like rational rows or something. You build really models with use case and other things. But then you have a large distance between the design tool and the development environment. And what the Eclipse modeling project does, it really stays very close to what the developer does, and it looks at improving the developer productivity. And not so much. It's not a tool for enterprise architects or people who are architects who do. But in general, the question is how valuable are these people in general, and how valuable is, except for that they need to communicate with the customer and with users. But if you look for the development work, it's much better to stay close to what the developer does, and to do, and so it's a very pragmatic approach towards modeling, and it's more called model-driven development and not model-driven design. So, but because it's so close to the development environment, it makes it much easier to generate code and work with code from here. And what you also see is that this model is present at runtime as an object. So at runtime I can say, give me the model, and it's an instance of e-package. And
you mean that the tool must developer, but not a system architect or somewhere?
Well, a system architect can create this model. That's no problem, and maybe he should, and then you can make a picture. But if you look at the whole state diagram thing and all the other things, what's the purpose of doing that? I think there's one main purpose, that's talking to your users about what they want. But it's not for communicating with the programmer, not really. Because the programmer can just as easily just program, you know? It takes no time to program a business flow. But so these use cases are more useful towards trying to get the requirements from the user, I think. But I'm not even sure. Yeah. Now my experience is that it's really very important just to get to the code as quickly as possible, to start coding as quickly as possible, and not all the steps before. And that's
every IDE is a set of plugins. Yeah. Every IDE is a set of plugins. Plugins like beans, and this plugin will help you. What's the main?
No, that helps you. Basically, what they say, it's very pragmatic and it's back down to earth. You know, let's do coding and not all the other stuff. The only thing you need to get out there is a working software. Working software is source code. And as long as you don't type in source code, you will not have a software. You won't have an application. So you should start doing coding as quickly as possible. So it's very pragmatic. And all these people who call themselves architects who use rational rows, it's all, well, it's over the top.
And you can generate Java classes.
Yes, well, I'll show you also, yes. I will show you some code generation, and also I will try very quickly to program on how to see how you iterate over this model at runtime. Because that's really important, that you at runtime have access to the model.
So the debugging, you got debugging model that helps to control model state.
Yes, model yes, at runtime.
You don't need to restart web server.
Yes, you need, and that's a criticism on Java again. Java has problems, you can't do dynamic reloading. And so that's a big problem with Java, and that's also why you have, like other languages, also built on the GVM, which are more dynamic. And Java doesn't solve this in Java 7, as far as I know. I'm not 100% sure about this though. But yeah, it's a big problem with Java. You know, I'm restarting Tomcat 20, 25, 30 times a day. It takes 30 seconds per time. So it's a waste of time, really. That's a problem. Okay, what I installed in this IDE is called a small project of myself called Texo, and Texo generates source code from a model like this. So it's very yes, it's very boring because the only thing you need to do is do this. You know, select this menu.
Generate ORM is using Hibernate?
Yes, no, Eclipse. Well, it generates an ORM for Hibernate. It's a generic ORM, so it will work with Eclipse Link. It will work with Eclipse Link as well as Hibernate. I will remove the ORM. So just take a small look here, and you see it starts generation. The first time it's a bit slow. Now, if you look here, you will see the classes which are generated. Also your person, which you just added. And what you see basically is the source code up here. It's formatted according to the project formatting rules. And and if you go to Rental contract, you would see a person somewhere. Yeah, here's the rental.
This model extends some base classes that are provided with that model tool, yeah?
No, currently this is just an example that I do this because I've set this somewhere here.
You will declare the classes here.
Yes, I declared that it should extend here. So it's a real detail. If I remove this, then you would really get clean code without any extension, because that's what you want. You want clean code without any dependencies on the framework, which you use to generate. So, but there's like a way of annotating the model, adding information to the model, to generate more specific code. That's a way to so you can control code generation.
What's about XSO DAO?
Yeah, it's a demo I did for a customer. So it's like a base object. Normally, if you want to store information in a database, it makes sense to let all the objects inherit from a base object. Which do you need to translate? Normally, if you generate entities to store in a database, most you want to have like a base object, the base class, which has the ID and the version columns.
если ты генеришь или не сохраняешь сущности в базу данных, а что дальше происходит, ты не понял, это уже какие-то ваши программерские дела.
Если ты,
тебе сейчас помогут.
Объекты, чтобы загружать базу в РМ, то базовый объект должен иметь айдишник, вот у всех, поэтому свойство такое.
And have you guys heard of the mapped superclass GPA annotation? Like I'm now going from here to the total other topic, which is mapping how to map your object model to the database. Do you know how? So I'm not sure if you can follow.
Как объект на базу данных матриц.
Подожди, суперкласс как связаны?
Maps. Maps или associates?
That's database model and program size model.
Yes, but I can, if you want, I can talk about how to map inheritance structures to a relational database. But that's a separate, separate topic, really.
What's next? You generated model.
Yes, I generated. What I will show you next is how to change the templates to give you a feel for how a template looks like. Because I generated this class, extremely simple, nothing special. But
yesterday you said about back here.
yes, well, it's not back because you change the model, but you can generate, you can change the Java code. For example, here I have this method. For example, what I do, I make a generated not, and I say. You see the single quote from Java.
When you change.
Sorry? So what I did in this case, this is a feature of the Eclipse Model Framework. If you put this behind in the Java doc, it won't override this method anymore. So if I regenerate again, now to show that it actually regenerates, I'll remove some stuff. Are you still awake?
Yes. Не сплю ли я?
This is a stupid project manager.
Yes. Yeah. Yeah, yesterday I was.
Я знаю, что у вас не стоит.
Нет, не надо, вот не надо.
Предельно тупой
А он предельно тупой SEOшник. А это предельно тупой девелопер. Мы когда-нибудь создадим команду.
You guys didn't see it, but or you guys will, but I regenerate. You don't believe me. But it's still there, it's incredible, isn't it? Oh no, I'll move a few things. Let's move a few other things. This is one and some other stuff. And then you can see...
I see a progress bar in the bottom of the page.
Sorry?
I see a progress bar in the bottom of the page and it shows that something is happening. I mean, this one.
Это загрузка оперативной памяти, чувак.
Well.
Да блин, сразу стало любопытно, что происходит вообще.
Okay, now remove some stuff and I'll regenerate again so you guys
Rental factory is generated class too? Rental model factory.
There's something
Rental.
Я говорю, что через 5 минут все.
Sorry, say it again. Yes, this is there's something wrong with my mouse. You see that? Yeah. The rental model factory is this is a link at runtime to be able to access the model at runtime, and it makes it possible to talk to your objects in a model level. For example, to export all these objects to XML, it takes about 10 lines of code, whatever model you have. So. Just like to, if you have as an example, if you do subclassing and superclassing, you do this because you can write code at a higher level, higher abstraction level, and that's more efficient than writing code for each of the subclasses. There's even one abstraction level higher, which is the model itself, which is above your normal instances, so you can write code at the model, write software at the model level. It's very efficient because you only need to write one type of software which will work for all the objects. For example, I can write a small piece of Java which will export all the data to XML, and it will work for all objects and all models. And it's and so if you can write at that level, it's much more efficient. You understand? No, yeah.
Okay, I'm lying. Мне можешь не объяснять, это ты можешь писать код. Я не могу.
mouse is a bit a problem.
Что ты трогаешь?
Yeah, you guys have to help a bit with
something with this cursor English.
Oops.
No, I tried. Yeah, now it's back here. Is it back there? No. Yeah, now it works. And there's a problem here. Oh yeah. Okay, let me regenerate. I removed some stuff, and let me regenerate this code so that you can see that the methods are added, but this one method is remained. So you see it's still there. So basically, what you can do, you can make changes in your generated code, and they will be maintained in regeneration of the software.
But you delete some generated method, but they
reappear. Yes, deletion is not. You can remove the content of the method and then put generated not above, so it prevents regeneration.
But if you create a method that not have generated or generated not,
it will stay there too. I can add a method below here, public.
But if you after that you create method, create method, create
a model element with the same name.
You create options that have a setter with a name, string. You create with the name of method. You create user.
Yeah, then you lose. Then you well, we can try.
Дай ему слухаться в голову.
Okay, I added the last name to the. You followed, isn't it? Yeah.
We all follow, in fact.
Yeah, come on. No, it keeps it. You see, it adds its set last name and it maintained the get last name. Isn't it smart?
Method get last name don't override.
Don't override now.
But another method get last name not created.
Correct.
Yes.
So in a way, that's what you want, but it's a bit.
Yeah.
We have no.
We have to go.
We have to go because we're having bus several minutes later.
Oh, you have a bus? No?
Yes, well, the bus is waiting for us.
Okay.
So sorry for interrupting you, and thanks for the lecture. It was a great pleasure.
Yes. Have a good time.
I hope I can find you at Facebook.
Bye bye. Bye. Yeah. Well, you guys are left, so I can show a little bit about. I can show about how to change the template, and then if you're interested, then we can stop if you. Otherwise, I'll give you too much information. You understand?
Yeah. They make noise.
Yeah. You guys speak English? Or you can understand English? Yeah. Okay. Now what's also get generated is a test class, which you see here. Very simple test class. And what I'll show is how to adapt the template to generate a different test class.
Just to generate a unit test.
You can generate the skeleton for a unit test, but in the end you need to create, because what I noticed myself is that it's better to write a generic test case which works with models in general than to write a specific test case. For example, I have test cases here which generate test data. You give a model to the test case, it generates test data, and it puts it in the database and reads it from the database. But it doesn't know what type of model it is. It doesn't know if it's a rental model or something else. You understand? I don't think so.
Ну, это штука.
Можно поставишь данные, и все нормально. Безопасно.
By the way, the guys are part of Justin.
Yes.
That Andrew and Losha, they are from Soligorsk team, and Kostya is like a main person in Minsk, Justin. So there's like so that guys they are interested in that because we have some practice and some lections and so on. So it's very great, and I'm saying thank you.
Well, it's no problem, but it's nice to do, so it's no effort.
I mean, you're providing inspiration.
I hope it's interesting. Yeah. Because I tell many things, but
okay.
But, okay. Well, what you?
But you know them.
Yes, I know them now.
There would be a presentation of my speeds in several minutes.
Okay, I'll wrap up here and then.
And then there will be ending of conference.
Okay. Yeah.
So just speak.
And what I'll do, I'll show you just quickly how to adapt the template. Because what I talked yesterday is that you have a model and you want to generate, but of course you want to generate your own stuff. So you want to generate your own template. And there's a templating language there. The Eclipse project has 2 templating languages. 3.
Есть шаблон, через шаблон и для всех сотрудников ставят. То есть вы можете всем проще с ним работать, потому что все знают шаблон, и по нему генерить аналитику, нарисовал схему, потом какой-то взял, схватил ее тоже в своей DE-шке, и нормально работает. То есть он видит, может уже сгенерить чистый, но можно разрабатывать тоже в своей DE. Есть шаблон, есть.
Yes, but and the templating language they also offer editors, so you can easily edit the template. For example, here you have code completion inside the template. This is the template that you see here, and you see it. There's a package statement here, public class. I put generated there, and I generate a method. And I could add another method, public void type name, for example.
Шаблончики, по которым изменяется файлик, можно исправить.
Это очень, если честно, я это не ловил, можно сам
Не, ну чем он еще занимается?
предполагаю, что имеется.
So for
You can
example,
set templates which used in generating.
yes, so you can, in this case, with Texo, you can override all the templates with your own templates. And they are structured in the same development project, in the same development as the code. And you follow this specific structure. It's explained in some document somewhere in the wiki. And then you can override all the templates. But the same templating logic you can also use outside of Texo. It's like a free Eclipse technology, which is good documented. So you don't need to use Texo for generating code. You can easily generate your own code also using the same templating knowledge and the eCore modeling language. Maybe you need to translate. I can repeat it.
Can you repeat the
Yes.
sentence?
What I'm going to show now is the Texo project. The Texo project uses expand, which is another project.
Расширяешь его с помощью другого проекта или расширяешь его и получается другой проект. Ну, то есть расширяешь вначале до другого. Да, расширяешь этот до другого проекта.
So and you can also generate code without Texo by using expand directly.
Без текста как
Ты снова генеришь код, уже не используя начальный проект. То есть как бы ты генеришь уже для нового. Ну, по-новому шагу, я, конечно, сам не ловил эти связи здесь.
Ну ладно,
And so this as remarkable. What I did now, I changed the template a bit by adding this method here. And for example, let's say that you want to add a getter for each.
И, короче, по-другому модель станет. Через гитер добавим такие свойства, типа, для каждой аннотации, видишь, for every annotation, for every property.
Yes, exactly. So I only need to find because it has been a while before I've done this. No, I won't do this. It's too long ago. So I've been very busy with this. So I added this method here. But you can also use a for loop and you to iterate over all properties of a class and do other things.
Okay, я понял.
So if I regenerate this code, right, so I made an error. Oh yeah, we have, you know, here I do point into the bin string. And I can also generate the ORM, which I'll do right now. And this is the ORM for this whole stuff. And it takes into account list properties and the whole stuff. So it takes care of all your, also the associations and creates tables and everything.
Можно по нему таблицы базовые. With ORM XML you can generate a database.
Yeah. So it takes me 2 minutes. I can go from a model to a working database. And I'm not sure if the example I have works, by the way.
All development process is writing picture, and you can press one button, it generated Java classes, and second button it generated ORM and generate next database tables.
Yeah. That's what it does. And I have a test case here to show that it works. That's this one here, which actually uses this ORM, but we need to go. But otherwise, I could show that you can generate based using this model, you can generate test data, and that you can save this test data in the database and read it from the database.
Just the выдание еще this data.
Yeah. So, but we have to go. Otherwise, but if you're very interested, if you're not totally asleep, I can show it later. But
yeah, but we are interested. Why we are inspired.
More, yeah, that's more important than the.
Yeah, but it's great to see much big projects now.
Yes, let's do that. But at least you know that these things are all possible, and it gets you to the next level of coding actually, because you don't need to do all this stuff. You can really only do the logic. You only need to do business logic. No, that's the whole idea.
And существует ли такая тула, чтобы интерфейс генерировать пользовательский? Does any tool
Is it possible to generate interfaces?
User interface?
No, not yet.
Еще нет?
Yeah. It's my big wish to like use Smart Client or Essential or XDS to generate an XDS user interface using the same information from the model. I've been working with Dimitri to do the JSON web service on the server using the same model information, so that we have a JSON service, so you can talk to the database and retrieve objects from the database and convert to JSON and send them to the client. Maybe I went too quick. You understand? Yeah. So. Yeah. And if we then have a working web service on the server, we can attach a client to it. So it's like moving from and if you have working web service, we can go to the user interface part, which talks to this web service.
То есть, типа, не надо нам интерфейс, мы веб-сервис ставим, а потом клиент отдельно пишем. Веб-сервис все понимаешь, что
and the REST web service is great because you can type in the URL of the browser, you can just type queries and you will see the result directly in your browser. Makes the system very open.
с веб-сервисами, когда мы используем, тогда трудно понять.
Okay? Well, you're welcome. I'm happy that I could provide you with some information. At least. It's fun to program, so it's a really great, thing to do. I think it gives you a lot of flexibility. That's what I like most. I can work everywhere. I travel a lot, and where I am, I work, and next week I'm in Spain, the week after I'm in Italy, and the week after I'm in Norway, and I will work everywhere. And I'll do, go skiing, and I work 4 hours a day, and then go skiing, and then work in the evening. And that, really, that's a great advantage of this work. It's intellectual, and you have freedom, and if you're good, if you're motivated. You need to be passionate. If you're not passionate, you should go do something else.
But 1% of inspiration, 99% perspiration.
Yes, it is. You should never give up. The people who are successful are the people who have not given up.
Yeah, sometimes I have to work only at night because of no more practice, no more good practice that interrupt my brain.
Yeah, true. I also work a lot at night. Yeah. And I work also in other places, not at home, because I get disrupted. Yeah.
Yeah, it's really good.
Yeah.
Thank you, Mark.
You're welcome. Have a good night. I'll speak to you later. So.